It's early spring, the weather has gotten much nicer, and some of the coolest targets are coming up in the east. Time to get the telescope out and shoot some galaxies. But why can I see almost no stars in the east? Well, in my case, Frankfurt is in that direction. And if you can't see that many stars, it's due to light pollution. Hi Astro Addicts, my name is Tim and welcome back to Astro Addict. For most of us backyard astrophotographers, light pollution is an ever-constant source of annoyance, covering the sky, blurring out faint stars, and warping the colors of these beautiful objects. It's time to learn something about our most dangerous enemy. In a clear night, you want to see stars and nebulae. What you don't want to see is every other source of light. Artificial light is called light pollution as soon as it's misdirected or used too much. There's nothing wrong with street lights to make our streets safer at night, but illuminating your entire backyard or making your property shine at night is not necessary. A big city emits much more light into the sky, and a small village is a much more pleasant sight. The light sent into the air gets reflected by it and makes the whole sky brighter. The result? The beautiful dark night disappears, the Milky Way fades away, and even the brightest stars can barely be seen from downtown. But not only us astrophotographers suffer from this misuse of light. The effects on human health, the ecosystem and nature can easily be foreseen, but this is not the topic of this video. I still don't know many people who can sleep at night in the bedroom with a street light shining directly at their face. You live near a big city? The night sky is not how it seems. If you ever looked at night outside and thought that there were many cool stars out there, you have no idea. The darkest sky I have ever seen was on the beautiful Canarian Islands, and that was only a 4 on the Bortle scale. One way to measure the brightness of the night sky is the Bortle scale. On a scale from 1, perfect night sky, to 9, inner city sky, the Bortle scale allows research on what objects and stars can be seen in the night from your location. The brightness of a star is measured in the magnitude, a logarithmic scale, originally 1,000 years ago, based on what your eyes can see, from 1, bright star, to 6, barely visible with your own eye. In the present, modern telescopes can view stars of a magnitude from 11 up to maybe 18. If you want to see a magnitude 6 star in the inner city, forget it. This scale was invented when things like electricity and light pollution were not a problem. Not that electricity is a problem, I like it too, but look outside at night, find a star that is barely visible to your eyes, and look up in stellarium which magnitude this star has. Then locate on the Bortle scale where you are. I live in the Bortle 8 zone with one of the biggest airports in entire Europe just around the corner. Other ways to measure brightness are simple equations like the radians at the zenith, for example, a scale from 1 to 40 watts per square centimeters times steradian. Who invented the unit called steradian, really? Or just units like magnitude per square arc second. Keep in mind that the brightness is measured around the zenith, the point directly above the observer. So the brightness at the horizon can differ substantially from what you have above you. And a Bortle 1 sky. Just imagine the bright core of the Milky Way shining so bright that you yourself cast shadows. With good equipment and lots of hard work, nice images can be shot from Bortle 8 zones like mine. And the Bortle 9 zone, I have no idea, but I can imagine it's horrible. The results can differ, but it's always bad. The background color of your image can vary from reddish brown to green and maybe even yellow. This can easily corrected in post, but not only your background changes color. The basic theory of optics says that beams of light do not interfere with each other. And let's not get started on the double slit experiment, that's taking it too far. The light from a hydrogen nebula will come through, but so will the light pollution. Since the overall brightness is more than usual, you may be limited to your exposure time, which means that you will have less time collecting the light you want, because of the light you don't want. And the color of the light pollution will add to your objects. But since beams of light do not interfere with each other, you still have the information you want. You only need to reveal it, and you can reveal it by subtracting a median filtered background light pollution suppression layer that corresponds with your current situation. Most post-processing softwares do that with the press of the button. You have 3 possibilities to get rid of this stupid thing in your images. Do it either before, meanwhile or after imaging. Or the best way, all 3 methods. Move to dark side sky. Either turn off all the lights in your backyard or go camping in the next state park. Trust me, it's worth it. Filters are your best bet. When you go for filters, look for specific wavelength blocking attributes. Things you don't want: sodium, quicksilver and the noble gases like xenon and neon, for example. Most common names for these filters are ultra high contrast, light pollution suppression and city light suppression. There are many manufacturers around who make filters in all kinds of sizes and shapes. Most common types are either Canon or Nikon clip filters, 2-inch or 1.25-inch. And there's also the T-adapter size in the full-frame clip filters. For CCD cameras, you should go with CCD-style filters. These mostly come in 2-inch. They are specifically designed for charge-coupled device chips, such as cutting off steeply in the infrared to prevent halos and any unwanted color fringing. Or your best friend, narrowband filters, with a width at half maximum at about 12 to 6 nanometers. Every source of light pollution will be eliminated. Hydrogen alpha, beta, O3 and S2 are the most basic ones. With data from these three filters you can create beautiful Hubble palette images. Also, a nice side effect, you can image on a night where the full moon is out, since that light will be blocked as well. I recently ordered a tri-narrowband filter and I'm really excited when this is gonna arrive. Suppression techniques in post are basically almost all the same. Softwares like PixInsight or AstroPixelProcessor, the one I use, can create median filtered background images and subtract them from your main image. Same can manually be done in Photoshop or through action sets like the Astronomy tools action set. And at last, with a better signal to noise ratio, you have much more freedom, neutralizing the background and stretching the things you want. And that's why light pollution makes our work so much harder. You can look for dark areas in your country using online maps like Lightpollutionmap or Darksite Finder. Keep in mind that the value is measured at the zenith. Airglow of a nearby city can be much worse on the horizon, which, in my example, prevents me from shooting anything towards the east. The lesser the population in the area, the better. Good spots for night sky imaging are state parks, big lakes, mountains, anywhere where you are alone. If you found a dark sky site, for example at the next star party, please do me one favor and only use red light. At most star parties, the use of normal white light is completely prohibited, in order not to blur out any long exposure shot from nearby photographers. Also, red light doesn't disturb the dark adaptation of your eyes, and your eyes will have a much nicer time. Trust me. I recently found some articles saying that some actions to prevent light pollution have already been taken, at least here in my country. The nearby city of Fulda was recently awarded by the IDA to be the first star city in Germany for great efforts to prevent misuse of light using LEDs and smarter electricity plants to make our nights darker. Also, several citizens claimed that they were unable to sleep at night because of bright street lights outside, and they won the lawsuit at the court. So now the local community has to dim the lights at night. Well, that's all from me. As always, feel free to leave comments and feedback down below. My hobby is deep sky astrophotography. I'm an astro addict, and I wish you clear and dark skies.